I hope everyone is having a happy, relaxing, if not productive Sunday. I spent most of the day in the backyard putting down some mulch and some limestone. Some of you might remember we planted some fruit trees, 8 of them last fall. Well, they are blossoming like crazy. The backyard smells absolutely fantastic, and the bees are just going wild. There's more blossoms than what they know how to do with. So, Lord willing, we might have some fruit this later this fall, perhaps into winter. The trees are still very young, but it looks like they've grown quite a bit. At least I know one has put on, just since I believe it was August or September, it's at least put on a foot. And the rest of them have gotten bigger and thicker and are doing great. So I'll do updates on those as warranted. But came in to check my email and do a video and found one of the most ridiculous stories out of science that I've ever read. Now, you see the 2 guys at the end of this cave here? They're telling you what you're looking at is not a cave. They're saying it's a burrow. They refer to them as paleoburrows. That an animal with its claws dug itself a home through solid rock, 10 feet wide, maybe more, looks like about 7 feet tall. And they base all this because at certain points on the walls, they see claw marks. That's their scientific method. Well, we don't have anything else to explain it, so an animal must have dug a 2,000-foot long tunnel through solid rock with its claws to make a home. Now, what made me think of this was the story that we covered yesterday. The kind of force it would take to create massive chasms and passages like this through solid ice, which very well might occur with the amount of rain being dumped on Antarctica right now. For those of you who haven't watched yesterday's video, Antarctica is experiencing temperatures that are, and this is not a misprint, and it's not a misspeak, 90 degrees above normal. Not 9 degrees, not 19 degrees, 90 degrees above normal. Meaning there's going to be some major league consequences. There's already tunnels beneath Antarctica, they've confirmed, that are in the 70s Fahrenheit. Meaning you can walk around in a t-shirt because of all the heat trapped from beneath. You add that to the water coming from on top, it's just going to reveal a continent in a way that I don't think anybody ever expected. Now, that particular cave that I showed way back here is in a place in southern Brazil where the idea that there could be a creature big enough to do that isn't out of the realm of possibility. There are places in extreme southern and western Brazil, near Paraguay, that are completely untouched by man. And I mean areas the size of U.S. states that have virtually no evidence of human habitation whatsoever. It's literally the land time for God. It's one of the most breathtakingly beautiful places that you've ever seen in your life. But there might be things going on down there that might surprise some folks. This guy looked at another one. This is a different one. And nobody's talking about all of the markings all across the front of this, what they're referring to as a paleoburrow. Could anybody maybe say, hey, wait a minute, now why were people marking these saying, I mean, I just have to assume stay away, danger, warning. I don't think they were writing home sweet home on top of something like this. I don't think you'd have to be very astute in the wild to look at something like this and go, maybe we shouldn't go in there. It doesn't look particularly inviting. But this guy, this Frank, we'll call him, surveying a 45-mile stretch of highway construction near the city of Porto Alegre. For example, Frank and his students identified paleoburrows in more than 70% of road cuts, Although many are completely filled with sediment, they remain readily apparent, standing out like dark round knots in a dirt bank. Others are still open, like the one that attracted Frank's attention. When Frank found a suitable passage, he squeezed through an elliptical shaft. Now this one's a little bit smaller, 4 feet wide, 65 feet long, and lined with claw marks. Extrapolating from the original size of the hill sliced away for the highway, he calculated that the original burrow was about 250 feet long, not counting for twists and turns that it surely once included. There's no geological process in the world that produces long tunnels with a circular or elliptical cross-section, which branch and rise and fall with claw marks in the walls. This guy also says, I've also seen dozens of caves that have inorganic origins, and in these cases, it's very clear that digging animals had no role in their creation. You see, for this guy, and this is why I never got into science, for a lot of science, it's either A or it's B. It's either this or it's that, no third options. In his home state of Rio Grande do Sul, in the far south of Brazil, Frank has documented at least 1,500 paleo burrows so far. In Santa Catarina, which we've spoken about before, by the way, that's where Florianopolis is. Just to the north, he's found hundreds more and counting. Now, here's where things get a little bit weird. It wasn't until 2015 that the CPRM, this academy that he works for, had an opportunity to return to that strange cave in Rondonia. It turned out to be the first paleo burrow discovered in the Amazon, which is notable but not the coolest part. It also turned out to be one of the largest ever measured, with branching tunnels altogether tallying about 2,000 feet in length. The main shafts, enlarged by erosion, were originally more than 6 feet tall, 3 to 5 feet wide. An estimated 4,000 metric tons of dirt and rock were dug out, with no jacks and no supports and no pillars. Yeah, tell me another one. Anybody who's dug a mine, who remembers the song Big John? When the mine collapsed and Big John held up the beam for the guys to get out with jacks and timbers, they started back down. Then came that ore deep in the great. See, to create these mines, to create tunnels like this long and this big, you have to put in timbers and jacks to hold up the rock and the dirt. And they're saying an animal did this. An animal that would have had to have been the size of an elephant with claws as big as a dog. But through solid rock, there's just no way. They also can't date them. And they also have this thing where they've created how this sloth would dig a part of it and then go back and rest. And then come back. And he wouldn't continue where he was digging before. He would start digging a new part. And then it would create this scalloped feature across the top of the roof. And that's what they think they're looking at here. I mean, we have armadillos in Florida that can dig, but not like this. Dating the burrows also remains guesswork at best. Animals don't dig holes after they go extinct. However, they had to have been dug at least 8 to 10,000 years ago, when South America's giant ground sloths and armadillos vanished. You see, this is the problem they're running into. Here's another one in a hillside. This shape look familiar? This one's been filled in by sediment, so it was perfectly round. Look at the ceiling of this. They're saying an animal did this. There ain't no way. There ain't no way. You have to ask why. If humans did it, if humans did this excavation, I think this goes right to what we saw in Derinkuyu up in Turkey. They had to find a way to get underground and get underground fast in small tunnels, places to run. But it's just bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre sometimes, the excuses that they will come up with to make believe up things that they can't explain. So anyway, I just wanted to share this with you guys. I hope you guys are having a great Sunday. Once again, we'll keep you updated on the garden and the fruit trees. I have one avocado that I had grown from seed that is now almost as big as this tree is, and I have to find a place to put it. It's in a giant pot right now, but I've got 8 or 10 others that need to get in the ground pretty quick. Tomatoes and peppers, and got a strawberry already. So we even have a tomato already too. So in March, first day of spring. So God bless, like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.